What's going on, everyone? Mike here from Walleyes and More. Great to be back. I'm sorry it's been so long since we had a new video out. I appreciate all the subscribers and all those that have kind of stayed with us through this tough year. Obviously, I think everyone can attest to that, but we're back. I got some cool new content coming out this spring, and hopefully I'm going to be able to do a little bit more this summer than last year, with the circumstances being a little bit different. So again, I appreciate you guys sticking with us, and let's jump right into it. What I want to talk about today is a change I made for this year. As I switched over from Lowrance electronics to the new Garmin line. So for me, it's a lot different. There's a learning curve for sure, and hopefully by the end of the summer here, I'll be able to really give you guys some good in-depth features on what these Garmin electronics can do, the new live scope system, of course, and how that plays into our fishing, and how it helps us, or if it hinders us at all. We'll see. I think it's going to be a good benefit to us as a guide service here. I think a lot of the customers are really going to like it. I know I've found the little bit I played around with it, it's pretty cool stuff. And hopefully as I learn it more and more, I'll be able to share some information with you guys about how it all works, and hopefully give you some tips on how you can use it if you have that or are thinking about getting it on your boat. So one thing I want to talk about today, guys, is a pretty cool feature. Not only the Garmin electronics, but a lot of the other companies have this as well. But I'm going to show you on the Garmin's how to change your depth shading in terms of colors for different depths. And it's really an effective tool, especially for us trollers who want to focus on a small or a very specific area, especially at night when we do a lot of trolling up here in the Door County area for walleyes. It's tough to pay attention to everything going on and also follow that contour line or stay in that range that you want to. This feature I'm going to show you really makes it simple, and it'll also work for when you want to cast or drift the shoreline or stay on a certain flat and you don't want to have to pay so much attention to your boat control. So let's jump right into it here, and I'm going to show you how this works. Okay guys, so here we go. We're on our typical Chartplotter page, and what we want to do first is go to Menu, Layers, Water, and then turn on the depth shading feature. Now this is going to show you a preset color palette, you might say, of different colors for the different depth ranges. Some people might be okay with the way this is, but I want to focus on a very specific depth range, and in order to do that, I want to turn all of these colors off first by just going to the little arrows key next to the depth shading, clicking on each individual color palette there and turning it off. Then go back, hit the 10 to 15 foot, turn that off, back, whatever the next one's set at, turn that off, back, and then the final one, we want to turn that off and go back. And now we typically have the exact same thing we started with before we even turned the shading contours on. So now we want to create a new depth range, and this is the one we want to focus on as we get into trolling or drifting through a certain depth range, and make it a lot easier for us without having to concentrate so much on where the boat is. So let's set the new depth range. Now up here in Door County, that 10 to 15 foot range, especially when trolling walleyes after dark here in the spring, is a great spot to keep your boat. So let's put the minimum depth at, let's just say 12 to be real specific. We'll go done. And then the maximum depth, let's go 0015, done. And then let's put the color at something that's a little easier to read. Let's go down, let's pick this yellow one here. Makes it pop out pretty good for you. And then we'll go to back, menu. And now you can see that 12 to 15 foot range here is highlighted in yellow. It's pretty easy to focus specifically on that depth range and make sure the boat is in the proper spot at all times. As you can see, we can zoom in, make it even easier. And all we have to do now to make sure we're in that 12 to 15 foot is to just keep our boat in the middle of that yellow range, and it works out really nice. As you can see on the chart, the boat's exactly where it needs to be, and we don't have to worry anymore about concentrating on what specific brake line we're on to focus on the depth range we want. So guys, that's pretty much it. It's a pretty simple setup. It's a very effective way to target a specific depth range and make life a lot easier on you, especially if you're trolling, or even if you want to drift the flat like we said, whether it's after dark or during the day. Boat control is key to fishing success. Most people will acknowledge that, and sometimes features like this just make it easier for us to get that accomplished. Especially when you're fishing these tight, hard braking shorelines with real steep breaks and these tight contour lines, it can be difficult to keep your boat in that specific area without being so focused on where you're at. Adding one of these color depth range features really makes things a lot easier. At least it does for me, and I hope it will for you too. So stay tuned, guys. We got a lot of great content coming out, as I mentioned. And if you like this video, please comment on it, please share it, and of course, please subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on all the cool new videos we've got coming out this summer. Thanks again, guys, and we'll see you again real soon.